all have visited my garden on a couple of occasions, and you know that I am, more than anything else, a plant collector. And I happen to have a number of friends who are also plant collectors because we all sort of tend to hang out together. And we have a great opportunity today to visit the garden of a friend of mine, Paul Schneider, up in Portland, Tennessee, and his wife Dot. And I can't wait to show you around this magnificent little garden. Well, Paul, thank you for letting us come and visit today, and I can't wait to see the garden.
Okay, well, this segment we're in right now, we kind of call it the tropical garden because we try to grow some really bigger things and things that one wouldn't expect to find in a Tennessee garden necessarily. Although this is a native right here.
Sure.
This is SILPHIUM perfoliatum, so-called because its stems, the leaves just arise directly out of the stems, and you can see the water from rain captures in those leaves. Kind of an interesting thing.
And its common name is cup plant.
Cup plant,
for that
exactly.
reason.
It'll grow about 8 feet tall and have really, really pretty yellow flowers. Behind us, once again in the yellow flower mode, is HELIANTHUS maximillianus, which is a Mexican sunflower. And I've got them here against this arbor because they'll grow up through it, and that'll help to support them because they get 8 or 9 feet tall by the end of the summer, once again with yellow flowers.
Yeah.
We can see the hardy banana or the fiber banana, MUSA basjoo. These stay in the ground all year round. A lot of people are under the impression you have to take them out and put them in a crawl space in the winter or whatever. Absolutely not.
Yeah, just not with this one especially.
Not this one. Let the frost kill it back and then cut the leaves off and use them as a mulch. Once again, in the banana family, this is MUSELLA lasiocarpa, the yellow flowered banana. And that stays out in the winter too, with a nice dose of mulch on it.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
DATURA meteloides. This bloom has already just gone by, but you can see it's got the big white flowers on it. We've got a CORNUS kousa here, Chinese dogwood. We've got Eupatorium purpureum right here, and we've got VERNONIA novaboracensis, the giant purple-flowered VERNONIA, ironweed, exactly.
Ironweed, yeah.
12, 14 feet tall. It's definitely a butterfly magnet in the fall. And the big grass behind it is SACCHARUM arundinaceum. It's a hardy sugar cane.
Okay.
Very, very sharp-edged leaves, but an absolutely gorgeous plant. Once again, 12, 14 feet tall at the end of the season. We've got this great RICINUS or castor bean called New Zealand. These came from this
burgundy foliage. Really
seed came from my friend Gina Pruitt over in Franklin, Tennessee. It's going to get big like this and about 6 feet tall. A wonderful, wonderful plant. Giant elephant ears, and back here in the back, not up where they need to be yet, is LILIUM formosanum, the Formosa lily, which will also get 7 or 8 feet tall. Wonderful white scented blooms in the late season. So this is more of a late season garden, but it's really starting to kick in now. And over here on this side, we've got the needle palm, Rhipidophyllum hystrix, which is a wonderfully hardy palm for Tennessee gardens. You can see it looks so tropical, and it'll take 10 below zero.
Yeah, this is fully hardy to zone 6, and most people don't think that palms would be hardy here, but this is absolutely
this
hardy.
one, and also the sable minor, depending upon which cultivar you get. I'm growing all of those here, and they all do fine. The trick is buy as big as you can get them, or as big as you can afford
them,
and try to watch your provenance. If they come from Florida, they might have a couple of bad winters here. If you can get some from, say, northern Alabama, northern Georgia, you're going to have a lot better luck with them in this garden. Of course. The rice paper plant, I can't remember the name on that one.
Tetrapanax.
Tetrapanax, Papyrus, exactly. Big, 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 wondrous tropical leaves, and also a great plant. But it is a spreader. You'll be digging it out if you put a lot of it in. One plant is fine to keep you going.
Well, I know this is just one small section of the garden, so let's move on and keep going with the tour because I'm really fascinated. So this is a little rain garden that you've created.
Yeah, actually, when we bought this house, we took all the rain gutters on the south side of the house and put them all together, put them in the ground, buried them, brought them into a sump, and now when it rains, the cellar pumps into it and the rain gutters go into it. And what we've put in here are things like Thalia dealbata, which is a native canna, for want of a better term, Really neat purple flowers in the fall of the year with little tiny round balls for seeds. We've got Carex Bowles Golden, which is a wonderful Carex from Europe. And almost all the iris in here are iris that appreciate water. They're either Louisianas or versicolor iris. So we've got Sweet Kate Tradescanthia and Bilberry Ice Tradescanthia over here. And when we have really torrential rains here, this basically floods. I mean, the gravel here is designed to lead the water away to this section over here, which is the deciduous holly, Ilex verticillata. We have a male in the middle. You can see the differentiation in foliage from the females, and you can see the green berries that are on it now. Those will be bright red in the fall, and it's an absolute bird attractor. I mean, birds come from all over to strip the berries before we can use them for Christmas decorations. Wonderful plant that no one seems to grow that much because it's a green bush.
So here you have a very interesting little collection of troughs and things.
Right, these are troughs that I have made myself using the Hypertufa.
Right.
One of the real lightweight formulas that I use with Portland cement, peat moss, and perlite. And I use them basically for small conifers. This is a Jade Pagoda Ilex or holly.
Little holly.
These guys have been in those troughs now, some of them for several years. It makes a nice home for them. It's easy to control the soil conditions, easy to control the moisture, and it allows you to have a place to put miniature conifers and plants that would sort of get swallowed up in the larger scope of the garden. Exactly, exactly. Troy, as a plant collector, one of the things that I find is almost everyone seems to have a somewhat limited budget, and you want to put the most of your money where it'll do the biggest effect.
Right.
One of the things that we've found, my wife and I have found over the years, is places like the big box stores sometimes offer things like the ground cover juniper, Juniperus procumbens nana. We found this wonderful Juniperus virginiana gray owl at, I think, a Walmart, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And as we go along here, almost all these junipers, one of the reasons I collect junipers is they tend to be a little bit reasonable in price, including this variegated juniper, also found at one of the big box stores. So for bang for our buck, it allowed us to buy, say, a Juniperus Golden Schnapps like this one, which was more costly.
Right.
But you can see we've covered a large area. This is sort of in what they call the Hell Strip, which is just off the highway.
Right.
Had a lot of traffic here years gone by, and they last well. They don't ask for a whole lot. They don't need to be weeded too frequently, so they're kind of a great.
They like the sun, they're drought tolerant.
Absolutely.
Perfect plant for out here.
Perfect plant for out here. And as a conifer collector, junipers are one of the better conifers, and they really are a great plant for the money.
Well, this is a perfect example, this gray owl juniper, of the fact that the plants don't read the tags, because I think almost every label that I've ever read said this plant gets 3 feet by 5 feet, and it's certainly almost double that.
It obviously likes it where it is, but it's well advised to give it some room.
Yeah.
But a wonderful structural juniper.
So I'm really fascinated by the dry garden here. The more I travel and the less I'm home, the more this appeals to me, of low maintenance plants and plants that really can handle the drought during the summer. Tell me about building this and how this all got started.
Well, one of the things that we did when we moved here, I've always been fascinated with yuccas particularly, and also the hardy cactus, opuntias and so on. And we decided that we'd put a desert garden, a xeric garden if you will, out here on the edge of our driveway. So I had a chap bring in an 18-ton load of Cumberland River sand, which is kind of a mixed coarse sand. I amended it with pea gravel also from the Cumberland River, and some really well composted horse manure, and basically started putting in, with rocks and so on, things like the Opuntia whipplei white spines, which is this cactus right here with the wonderful spine structure on it.
Right.
Really great all year long. I mean, right now it's been blooming, so it's quite green, but it gets whiter and whiter as the year goes on. We've got agave linear foliar up here, which came from Tony Avent some years ago. Struggled at first, but now it's really taken hold.
Right.
And then we've got this big agave, yucca. Yucca flaccida, which has bloomed once and will bloom probably 1 or 2 more times during the course of the summer.
Sure.
Mixed with things like Sandalina,
Right.
some
and
of the
you've got little
thymes,
thymes and hens and chicks.
hens and chicks, a couple of other agaves and so on, sedums. And for a minimal amount of maintenance, we built a rock wall out of riprap. I had somebody bring me in a big load of riprap, and we built a wall. It's just a loose, easily put together, stacked up wall,
nothing fancy,
no mortar or whatever. And it's just a real delight. Opuntia imbricata, which is the more like pencil-like Opuntia.
So one last plant before we go. I've tried this several times and not been successful, but you've been tremendously successful here.
Right. This is a willow. It's Salix aleagnos, or the rosemary-leaved willow. It does not have any scent like rosemary, but the attraction is the leaf shape, which resembles rosemary.
Right. And even that kind of silvery backside to the
backside
leaf, really
is
beautiful.
It's wonderful. Now it is growing close to the water garden,
of course.
so it's got its feet wet when there is water here. All right. And it's done well. I transplanted that, brought it from New York when we moved down here, where I had a fairly large collection of the colder climate willows in New York.
Right.
I've tried them here and they all get cooked. But this one's done well.
One is done all right.
It's not the easiest thing to start from cuttings. Usually a willow, you can stick it in the ground. But it's one of my favorites. Now these palms down here are an experiment. These are Chamaerops humilis, the European fan palm, the blue form. And believe it or not, they were selling them at a discount at Lowe's last year for like $15 a piece. And at that price, they're worth a try. Once again, heavily pine
Mulched.
straw, close to the house, protected from northern winds.
Right.
And they made it through the winter. I just sprinkle pine needles over the top of them to give them a little bit of an extra push.
Paul, I just want to say a quick thank you to you and Dot for letting us come and visit, for the fascinating garden tour and the great talk about all the unique and interesting plants you have.
Thanks. It's been my pleasure to have you folks.
Thank you so much.
Come back again anytime.